gonna change the world, change the world, change the world, yeah.
I'm Sally Colon-Petree, and you're watching Celebrate Transformation. And normally you see next to me Mr. Tim Storey, but Tim is actually traveling, and we didn't want to do a rerun. We wanted to keep it going and keep it, a new show every week for you guys. And so we have the next best thing, which is Tim Storey's VP of Storey Entertainment, Storey Media, which is Joseph Mendoza. What's up, Joseph?
Sally, how are you? I'm honored. It's a privilege, but man, some big shoes to fill.
Very big shoes.
Very big shoes to fill. But nonetheless, super excited to be on Celebrate Transformation.
Awesome. So I want to kind of play a little bit here. One thing that there's a lot of people that know Tim Storey, the media guy, the life coach to the stars, the guy that was in Oprah's backyard for Super Soul Sunday, and Steve Harvey. And, he's like this huge, personality, but people don't really know Tim Storey, the human being, the cool guy, the friend, the brother, the son, and the boss. And so because you know him so well, you and I, because I've been, Tim's one of my best friends for over 20 years. Let's talk about him just a little bit. So what is it like working for someone like a Tim Storey?
Well, what I'll say is it's been an honor and a privilege. I've been with Tim now a little over 8 years, Sally.
Wow.
8 years. It's gone by so fast, but here's what I'll say. What everybody sees on camera, right? What everybody witnessed with Oprah Super Soul Sunday, Steve Harvey, the Grant Cardone, the list goes on and on and on. The person you see on camera, he is the same exact person, Sally, when the camera is off and there's no cameras on him. There's no audience or crowd. He is the same absolute person. And let me tell you this. For all of you watching today, it is so amazing to be next to somebody who speaks life into you, Sally, who lifts you up, who builds you up, who believes in you, right? We all dream of having a boss or working in an environment where you're looking forward to what you do or what you do makes you happy. And I can honestly say, Sally, it has been such a joy and a pleasure because at the end of the day, I'm just an extension of Tim and he loves people and I love people. And at the end of the day, what are we doing? Helping people. We're being God's hands.
Loving on people. So wait, how did you guys meet? How did you end up working for Tim?
So we met in the church world. Okay. I was fresh off of the latter part of my testimony. And they were going to feature my wife, Felicia. We were not married at the time. We were dating. They were going to feature our testimony on an Easter Sunday a little over 9 years ago. And Tim and the First Lady, Grandma Bessie, happened to be in attendance with the whole family on Easter Sunday. And lo and behold, it was my testimony that played on the big screen. Well, I didn't know Tim Storey, but my parents and my soon-to-be wife knew Tim Storey. So as soon as the service was over, he gets up, we turn into the middle aisle. He looks at me and goes, "Was that you?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" He's like, "Come to the back. I want to talk to you." And I'm like, first of all, who is this guy? Right? Why do you want to talk to me?
Right.
So lo and behold, Sally, I did not know that Tim had lost his younger brother to alcoholism, to addiction. And the long story short was he basically looked at me and he had tears in his eyes and he said, "You are my little brother who made it. You're going to stick with me. I'm going to take you under my wing and we're going to do big things together." And you heard him. He shared that on his birthday book bash. Ago, right? So you heard the story where he talked about, he said he was going to keep me close to him. Well, at that point in time, I didn't know what that meant or what that looked like. Fast forward to today, there's some big shoes I got to fill, right? So
definitely,
Mendoza 9 years ago would have never thought that I would be with Sally Colon filling in for Tim Storey on Jesus Daily doing Celebrate Transformation.
And so I want to talk to you a little bit about just your testimony, because you sent me a text earlier today and you said in February you're going to be, is it not 8 years?
10
years sober.
10 years.
In February of 2021, right?
Yes.
And that's one thing that Tim and I we actually haven't gotten into a show about sobriety. So tell me what that feels like for you.
Well, right now I've been discussing it a lot with my wife, and it's a little surreal, to be honest, because, in addiction and when you're struggling with addiction, and addiction's at an all-time high right now. So addiction plus a pandemic equals what? A recipe for disaster, right?
Definitely.
So the thing about addiction is being sober one day is a huge accomplishment, right? And when people come to me, they're like, I have 20 days, 30 days. That's amazing, Sally. And the reason being is life still happens, right? Felicia and I have been through so much the past 9.5 years.
Yeah.
And look at society. Every commercial we see, alcohol related, okay? All the ads we see on YouTube, the billboards, the liquor stores, those things don't change, right? People, places, and things don't change. I am a firm believer that God relieved the obsession of alcoholism from me. And it's a little surreal when I think about 10 years. I could tell you that it was February 10th, 2011. And that was the last time I had a drink, and my struggle was with alcohol. 4 DUIs later, a year in county jail, a year in rehab, and here I am today. But let me tell you, it doesn't stop. 10 years is a big deal, because I've always told people, I was out there drinking about 18 years of my life, and I always told myself, Joseph, when you get to double digits, now you're talking, right? Now you have some time, behind you. Now that we're, really close to February, and it's one day at a time, for those of you watching, I don't want to prematurely say 10 years. I take today for what it's worth. I work on today. Then when tomorrow gets here, work on tomorrow. And by that philosophy and putting God at the center, I've been able to string, 9.5 years together, Sally. So it's a little surreal, but it's an exciting time for our family and for our household.
Good. Well, congratulations, because I know my dad was sober. And I remember the day that my dad, I never even knew my dad had a problem with alcohol, because he hid it. He was always happy. So I didn't know he had a problem with alcohol until one day he told me that he did. And I supported him in that. And then the day that I told my dad that I was pregnant with my first daughter, Bella, that day, my dad was so happy, because it was going to be his first granddaughter. That was the day that he stopped drinking.
Wow.
And he became sober on that day. He was sober for, I guess it was about 15 years before he passed away. Wow. And I knew how important it was for him to go to meetings. He had a sponsor, and the support that you need, because any little thing can trigger you back into that lifestyle. So that's the only experience I have. I've never had an issue with, alcohol or drugs or anything like that. I have my own other issues, in life, but I know how, my friend Eden is sober. I have a lot of friends that are sober, and it's such an important thing in their life. They call it the birthday, right? It's your sobriety birthday. Is that?
They do. It's called your sobriety birthday. And I just want to share one thing. Tim, not here today. Tim always talks about being birthed in pain, right? I think you've heard Tim say that a lot of times, birthed in pain. I was birthed in pain. Alcoholism runs in my family. It runs in with my grandparents. My dad's been sober 26 years today. He got sober when I was a sophomore in high school. So my dad's been sober more than half my life today. Then you have myself, coming up on 10 years. Then I have an older brother who's 45, Sally. He's going to celebrate 4 years sobriety this year. So to say that it ran in the family, but then to now see the work that God has done, and it started with one. It started with my dad. Okay, getting sober. Here I am, here my brother is, and now we're changing the next generation in our family, right? So I get to raise my kids with my wife today. Jordan and Joelle, my 2 and my 4-year-old, Jude, my 11-year-old, they'll never know me to drink, Sally. They'll never know what it's like to see alcohol in my hands. My older ones, they were so young at the time. And for them, that was different. They only have memories based on things we talk about, right?
Yeah.
The family in the house now, they will never know what that's like. And let me tell you, that's an amazing feeling to know that, they can't say, I saw you wasted, Dad, or I saw you passed out, or why are you driving with me in the car? No, they will never be able to say, and they'll never be able to witness or see any of those things happen, at least not in my lifetime.
Yeah, no, I love that. And the one thing that inspired my dad when I told him about Bella was he said to me, I never want her to smell alcohol on my breath ever. And that's what, like, I don't know what was the thing for you, but for my dad, that was it. I never want my granddaughter to smell alcohol on my breath. What was it for you that snapped or triggered you to go, I'm done?
Well, for me, it's a little different, right? So a lot of people will go through getting sober and they don't have to experience a traumatic event, right? I had to experience a traumatic event.
Yeah.
I got my fourth DUI. I drove my car into a telephone pole going 80 miles an hour and almost died.
Ooh, that'll do it.
If you want to say wake up call, I got the ultimate wake up call, and I walked away with bruised ribs and a bloody nose just from being attacked. So that was a wake up call.
Yeah.
I knew I was in serious trouble. But up until then, my kids were never enough for me to say enough's enough.
Yeah.
What did it for me was the near-death experience. Honest truth, Sally. I met a guy my age in jail who killed somebody from drinking and driving, and we got sentenced on the same day. Here was the difference. I hope everybody listens to this. My sentence was 12 months. His sentence was 52 years.
Ooh.
I will never forget when I saw him and we came back into our cells together and he told me that. You talk about the ultimate wake-up call right there, because here's why. That was soon to be me. I knew it. That was going to be me next. But I had never met me yet, right?
Right.
So I meet this person and I'm like, that is me. If I don't stop, if I don't get my act together, that's going to be me. So that was February 10th, 2011 when I got sober. And it was February 14th in February 14th, 2010, excuse me.
Yeah.
When, I'm sorry, I'm saying the date wrong, 2011. Anywho, that's when I picked up a Bible. And from that day forward, that's when I recommitted my life to God. And ever since then, Sally, everything has changed. Everything has shifted. And I've really never had to worry about the rest because God has been in complete control of my life, my marriage, our household, our family, you name it.
Well, that's, as they say, a very sobering experience, right? No pun intended.
Right.
So let's shift a little bit. And I'm happy for you. I'm happy for all my friends that, remain sober and have made that decision to live, a sober lifestyle. Let's talk about, because one thing that you have an experience with that I don't, we are both parents, but you have a blended family. I came from a blended family, and my experience in my blended family was not the best as a kid. And so, I've been single now for 4 years. And the reason why I'm single for so long is because I'm actually terrified to have a blended family. I just am. And so it's just been me and my two girls. And, we've toyed with the idea, like I've talked to my girls, what if I meet somebody that has, 2 daughters your age or 2 sons your age, or, like, what would that be like for you guys? And for them, they're like, that would be fun, Mom. We'd have other siblings or whatever. But what is it like having a blended family? And is it something that you would encourage someone like me to do or run from?
Well, here's my thought process. Mine and my wife's thought process is when you hear the word blended family, it really scares you, right? You hear that word because you hear the negative things that come with that statement or that word blended family. But we saw it as an opportunity. We saw it as an opportunity to make an impact in our kids' lives that we did not have together, that were not biological. So at the time, Jude, which is Felicia's biological son, he was 1. Sally, he's 11 now. I've raised him since he was 1.
Yeah.
So we talk about an opportunity, right? An opportunity where God has called me with my background, with my history. But look at where I'm at today. Look at where our family is at today. So for me, it was an opportunity. For Felicia, it was an opportunity to get in there with our now 15-year-old daughter, who, as you know, who has daughters in high school.
Yeah.
Is a pivotal age. It's a pivotal age where they're at, right?
Definitely.
My daughter's a sophomore in high school. I sent you a picture of her not too long ago. She is a beautiful young woman.
Beautiful.
She is fully developed. She's a cheerleader. So all the things that as a dad, you don't want to envision your daughter growing up and being, because you think the boys, the trouble, you know, it's real, but
Yeah.
it's been an opportunity. And for those of you who are thinking about it, those of you who are in a blended family, and maybe you haven't had a good experience thus far, here's what I'll say. It wasn't always the way it is today. It took hard work, Sally, to
I'm
get
sure.
where we're at today.
Yeah.
It did not take place overnight. This is years and years of prayer. This is years and years of hard work. This is years and years of wisdom, discernment, God at the center, where today we have a great relationship and the blended family works for us.
And what's your blend? So you had how many kids coming in? How many did Felicia have coming in?
So coming into meeting each other, I had 2. So I currently have a 23-year-old.
Okay.
That is a boy. That's our son, Jaden. He is a phenomenal kid, works for the city of La Palma, has a great job, graduated from Braille into high school. Very, very good kid. I mean, he serves at church, Calvary Chapel in La Habra. So great kid. Then I had my 15-year-old, who's Jaslyn, from my ex-wife. Okay. So I had the 2, and then Felicia had Jude from a previous relationship. So it was 2-to-1 entering. And then now where it stands today, there's 5 total.
Woo!
2 more. So if you want to say we started all over, we absolutely started all over. So we now have our 4-year-old is Joelle, and our 2-year-old is Jordan. So all of our kids' names start with J. So you got Jordan, Joelle, Jude, Jaslyn, and Jaden, and Joseph. So I always say my wife's the odd one out, but here's what I'll say. She's the one that holds the whole dang family together.
Oh,
And
I'm sure.
my wife. She's a rock star. So
and by the way, tell Felicia I said I love her new hairstyle. She's got like a fiery, amazing, short blonde. I love it. That's her. She's got such a beautiful face. I just love her hair.
So she's so bold, but she literally is the glue that holds this family together. It's tough, especially with 2 young ones, right? In the middle of a pandemic, 2 kids in the house, distance learning. So you have 4 of them in here at one time. And here I am working for somebody that you all know, Tim Storey, that's just a little busy, right?
I'm sure you're a little busy. Yeah.
She really, really loves Tim. There is a mutual respect. Some of you may wonder, well, how do you pull that off working for Tim Storey? Well, here's what I'll say is Tim is a family man, you guys. He is 100% a family man. He loves my wife and he loves my family. In our household, he is known as Uncle Tim. All of our kids call him Uncle Tim. They all know him. The minute they see him on TV for church, whatever it is, it's Uncle Tim, Uncle Tim, Uncle Tim. He is a family first guy.
And he's a dad too. He has 2 grown children. He's a great dad. So
he understands and he gets it, Sally. My wife loves him. And, she's been a really huge part and support of why I'm able to really accomplish the things that I am with him.
That's so good. So then what would you say to, a person like me or someone watching right now that's a single woman that's afraid, of going in and having a blended family? Would you say go for it? It's going to take time.
I would say go for it. And here's the reason why I'd say go for it. I believe that God has a plan and purpose for all of us.
Yeah.
And I think if we look for the perfect relationship, if we look for the perfect scenario, there never is a perfect relationship or perfect scenario. If I take myself and my wife, for example, it was not the perfect situation. It was not the perfect scenario. But through a lot of prayer, we said, God, if this is meant to be, show us that the puzzle piece fits. Right. But Sally, there was a point in time where we were apart for so long, I could only focus on me.
Right.
And she could only focus on her. And the prayer at the time was, God, if you bring us back together and it's meant to be, then you're going to do amazing things through our marriage and through our family. And here we are today. So if you are wondering if it's for you or if you're currently in a blended family and it's tough, stick with it.
Yeah.
Do not despise small beginnings in anything, right? It could be in your blended family. And God is really showing us that this was an opportunity for each of us to come together and unite. And I would not change it for anything, Sally. And I'll tell you right now, people may say that I'm crazy. They may say, well, 5 kids. You know what? God has a plan. That's all.
Yeah.
So he knew what he was doing. So for you specifically, Sally, I would say, do not be closed to it.
Yeah.
Be open, because there could be the right guy behind the blended family. That's all I'll say.
Okay. I receive that. I receive it. So let's shift one more time. We got about 5 minutes left in the show. It's going by so fast. It's a week before Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
And, obviously Christmas and Thanksgiving is going to look very different this year.
Yeah.
People need to wear masks. You could only have a certain amount of people in your house. What's something that you would encourage people to do, or what's something that you think is going to be different for you and your family? Like, let's just kind of go into that for like a couple minutes.
Well, first of all, as I'm looking at you and I see your Christmas tree behind you, you and I are already on the same page, because if I look straight ahead, I'm staring at our tree.
Yeah.
People are probably saying, well, why are you guys putting your tree up before Thanksgiving? Sally, here's what my wife and I currently believe. It's all about making new memories this year, right? It's all about doing things this year that you normally wouldn't do. So generally in the past, we wouldn't put the tree up until after Thanksgiving, right? Generally in the past, we wouldn't put Christmas lights up until after Thanksgiving. But we understand that this holiday season is not going to be like last year's, and it's not going to be like next year's.
Yeah.
So let's make new memories now, because here's what's going to happen. 5 years from now, our kids are going to look back and they're going to say, remember that holiday season in the middle of the pandemic when all we did was turn the fireplace on and watch movies together as a family with the Christmas tree on in the beginning of November? Sally, they're going to remember those things. Those things are the things that are going to leave the everlasting impressions on this year. But I'll take it one step further, and I'm going to steal this line from my wife. It's in the delivery. It's how we are speaking this to kids.
Yeah.
Is the holiday season a season of joy? Is it a season of hope? Is it a season of impact? Is it a season of peace, reconciliation, healing, love? Or are we making it and delivering it a season of uncertainty? Fear? Are we scared? Are we unsure? So how are we delivering this message to our kids, our family, our friends, our coworkers, and our peers? How are we delivering that? And right now, what I could say is we're delivering this season and this holiday as one we're not going to forget, and it's going to be the best one yet, is what I believe.
Right, I agree. But let's go back for a minute. When you were saying, normally we wouldn't put our tree up this early. Us Petries, we put our tree up the day after Halloween.
Oh, wow.
So it's been that way. We start Christmas music November 1st. It's just a thing my daughters and I, since I've been a single mom, that's just a thing we do. November 1st, the holidays begin. So, and for us, Thanksgiving, it's like, we call it like the special dinner. But like right now, we're in Christmas season. Bella and I today bought a bunch of Christmas presents. We were out Christmas shopping. Like this is what we do now. So this is like Christmas and the tree and everything. This is just November 1st and on, and we'll keep it on probably to like the second week of January. So we stretch it as long as we can.
Well, ever since I've experienced Coast 103 playing Christmas music the day after Halloween, it's just always done something for me. So you will always hear Christmas music from November 1st all the way through the new year. But we're just excited. And the thing about Thanksgiving is my wife and I are thankful every single day of the year. We're thankful 364, and Thanksgiving makes 365, right?
Absolutely.
And we're always looking to give back. We're always looking to help. We're always looking to partner. And right now, the word that God's been speaking to me is respond, being a first responder, being a responder, for God's kingdom. And we're constantly helping. We're constantly responding. So for us, Thanksgiving is something we do all year long. It's not that we're skipping and going straight to Christmas. No. We are beyond thankful, and we're going to continue to help families, and we're going to help families all the way through the Christmas season as well in the new year.
Good. So you know what? On that note, I would encourage anyone out there, if you're, you don't have family, or if you have a family and there's somebody else that that I call them the orphans. I used to bring in, the person that their family's out of town, they don't have anyone. I call them the orphans. come to my house and have Thanksgiving. And by orphan, that's probably not the best word, but just someone that didn't have their family here.
Right.
Like, let's reach out at this time,
Mhm.
with the pandemic happening and, life is different. Let's make sure this week we reach out to people in need, maybe even invite 1 or 2 people into our home for Thanksgiving. I just don't want to see anybody left behind during this time. So let's be out there loving on people, taking them in, feeding them. If you can volunteer at a shelter, to help feed people during Thanksgiving, if you can give some turkeys, to some of these shelters that need it, or give some money for them, I think that would be an amazing thing for all of us to kind of give back.
You totally stole my devotion from last Thursday, because it was talking about relationships, and it was talking about how relationships are the most important thing, and how that we need to take advantage of the time we have with our family and loved ones, because we don't know how much time we have with them. And, we've been blessed, Sally. We partnered with the LA Mission down on Skid Row for Thanksgiving coming up here to help families out down there in LA. So we're excited.
Good. Another place that's amazing that I volunteer a lot is the Dream Center. So I know they're always looking for people to volunteer to help serve, the Thanksgiving meal. So we have run out of time very quickly.
Wow.
Joseph, it's been such an honor to have you. Like, I know you from behind the scenes mostly. Joseph kind of produces our show, so he's always behind the scenes. He's the one that turns this on and sends the link and makes sure that everything gets uploaded to our editor, Miguel, who works hard to get the show done. But next week we have Tim's not going to be with us next week either, but we're going to have Rob Mack is going to be co-hosting with me. You guys know him. He's been on the show before. He's also a life coach for over 20 years. He's an author. He's a speaker. And we have a really special guest. So you don't want to miss next week. But thank you guys all for tuning in today to Celebrate Transformation. We're here every week, every Wednesday at noon Pacific Standard Time. And every week it's a surprise. It's a surprise guest. We always try to keep it really interesting. But Joseph, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Sally. And share because you care. If I didn't say that, I know Tim would say that. But Tim would say.
And the other thing is the emojis.
Emojis, but share because you care.
That's right. So we will see you next time on Celebrate Transformation. Thanks again, Joseph, for joining us.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sally.
I'm gonna change the world, change the world.